All right, y'all, we are going to get started in just a moment. We got a lot of people joining, so just give me a second and we will get the ball rolling. Okay, so let's get started here and let's talk about some AEP stuff. Let me get my camera all set up and we can go right on into it. And if anyone has any questions, let me just admit the people that are in the waiting room, just please let me know. So let me go over my AEP strategy and some of the stuff that I have been doing. I know I talk about it every single week. Hold on. This camera is on, but let me just get started here. Should work. Okay, cool. There we go. So yes, so let's go ahead and get into that. No one else is in the waiting room, so let's get started here. Welcome to our Wednesday call. This is all about Medicare. So we are approaching the AEP season. It's currently October 12th, which is Wednesday in 2022. I'm going to restart that. Sorry, guys. Let me go ahead and turn off my alarm. 1 second. Let me go ahead and restart that so we get it going. Okay, cool. So let me see over here. Should be off. Stop. There we go. All right. Welcome to our Wednesday call. So every single Wednesday, we do a training call on Medicare, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Today is the 12th, October 12th, 2022. We're going to our AEP selling season opening up on Saturday, this time of year, Saturday, a very unique day. But hey, that's great. So sometimes you got to do what other agents aren't willing to do, and that's what gives you the edge. So I know a lot of people might not be wanting to go out on Saturday. Hey, I got to do this with the kids. I got to do this with the family. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. You want to get an edge on the competition, be the first person there. Maybe you got to do that. Maybe we got to work Sunday, right? Maybe you have to do it this one time, right? One Sunday out of the whole year. Maybe you do it. And just get in front of as many people as you possibly can to get an edge on the competition. That's what it's about in business. That's what it's about in sports, right? Doing whatever it takes, right? So you listen to all the top athletes, Michael Jordan, you listen to Kobe Bryant, they did more than their competitors. That's how they won, doing more than their competitors week in and week out. That's why I'm such a big fan of not only those people, but what they do in order to beat the competition and give themselves a competitive advantage. So for me, what have I been doing? I know I tell you guys all the time the different things. So let me pull up my list over here. I got a couple different lists that I printed out. So I have a list of my existing clients. So I got about like 6, 7, 8, 9 pages of clients that I would just go through in a spreadsheet over here. And I would just take it, I print them all out and I write them all on up and I have them in a spreadsheet and I'm just going through them and looking at the people that I have or have not spoken with based on the letters that I sent them out in the mail, right? So I sent stuff out. For some people, I got some return. So it returned back to me. So I got to figure out why. Was there no apartment number on there? What is it that made that mail come back to me, right? I got to make sure that of all my people, I know who's staying with what plans, who's changing the plans during this time of year. So I need to keep it as organized as possible. So I update it in multiple locations. I go in and then I have their Medicare worksheet. So I go back and I update their Medicare worksheet for 2023 with notes in there that I updated their Medicare worksheet for 2023, right? So I have my existing clients. I have it coordinated and, color organized on this sheet while I'm dialing through, talking to them, and then I'm updating it inside of my Google Sheets. Okay. So where do I get all this data from? Well, I get all this data, I compile it. You can pull it directly from the carrier websites. You can pull it directly from their Excel documents that you can download. You could pull it from the commission statements from the insurance companies. So pulling those on up. And for me, after I pull those on up, I sort it by company. So I'm going to have my United Healthcare, my Humana, my Aetna, my WellCare clients. And those are primarily the 4 companies that I've sold over the years. But this year we have really, really hot and heavy with Cigna. I think that's a huge player in the business. You guys see the email I sent out today and how well they are going to compensate agents for doing the Part B premium give back plans, and rather how much they're going to pay us for the health risk assessments, the HRAs, and make sure you get that set up. I sent the email out exactly how to do it with the PDF and everything. So walks you through it. So with that said, they're going to compensate us very well. And they're coming in. And I tell you guys this every single year. I've been saying it since last year, right? How do companies come into a market and gain market share, right? They all want to take it from each other, but it's also an expanding market. 10,000 people a day is no joke, right? That is a serious number. That happens. That's 70,000 people a week that are aging into Medicare. So how do they not only gain market share from existing clients, the existing market, but how do they go out there and into the expanding market and actually capture the new blood that's coming into that Medicare pool? Well, they have to have creative ways to do it. And one of the creative ways that they do it is they use Part B premium give back plans. So what do I always tell you guys? I always say, hey, these companies are going to use that Part B premium give back plan, and then they're going to get rid of it. Or they lower it. And that's what happens. That's why it's so incredibly important for you as agents to make sure that you are tracking those people that are in a Part B premium give back plan. So in my area, if I didn't have a list of all the people that I did not sell that were in a WellCare Part B premium give back that went down, and the only reason that they're in it is because it's a give back plan, not because of the benefits or anything like that. They strictly care about the financial aspect of it. That was $100 last year, well, 2022, right? And then in 2023, it went down to $90. Cigna did not have a Part B premium give back, okay? And now they roll it out, or they have ones like $20, but now they roll it out and they have a $125 Part B premium give back in the same area. So WellCare went down, right, from $100 to $90, and Cigna came out and went with a $125 Part B premium give back. So if you as an agent have not written down all those people you saw throughout the year that have that plan that you cannot replace because it's a good plan and that's the one that's going to suit them best, right? And you go back and you revisit them. And when you go back and you revisit them, you look at it, you're like, hey, good news. I told you that we were going to get back in touch. Gotcha. You signed all the paperwork and everything. We did everything compliantly. We're done. Right. So you get back in touch with them. Okay. You reach back on out to them, or they call you, right? If you did a good job, they call you and you go back to them and say, hey, here's the updates for this year. So that's what I'm doing with my clients as well. I'm looking at them just saying, hey, I just want to talk to you about the updates. I don't care if I'm on the phone for 5 minutes, right? I don't care if I'm on the phone for 2 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is. Every single one of these calls, I look at it as $400, right? Your 301 plus the health assessment, right? If you're doing it. And if you're not, changing the plan, replacing their old plan with a new plan, like clients that I have with Aetna. Aetna just got rid of a plan in the area. So my clients have received the letters, and probably on this page, there's 20 or more, right, clients that I have to contact and say, hey, Aetna got rid of this plan. And they say, yeah, I know, I got the letter. Okay, well, here's what we're going to do. for 2023. And I go over that. I confirm doctors and medications. Why do I have all the doctors and medications? Because I fill out the Medicare worksheet, right? I make sure that I have that stuff. I put it in Sunfire, and I also fill out the Medicare worksheet. So let's say, for example, I just don't have access to Sunfire on my phone. It doesn't look good on my phone because you guys, I'm sure you've tried it on your phone. It doesn't look that great. It's not as compatible because you have to go through the internet browser, and it like shows you a very small portion of the screen. I could pull up my Medicare worksheet and I have all the information right there whenever I need it. So I have it in multiple locations, and then I back it up and it's on Google Drive, safe and secure. All right. So with that said, right now I'm reaching back out to all these people, my existing clients, but also my T65 lists of people, my prospective clients, right? People that I sat down with. Okay. And you could get a permission to call, right? You get the PTC form of permission to call. All right. Now you're compliant. You reach back out to them of all the people that have plans that you talk to, right? And you're just sorting through it in your database. You're looking at it and you're talking to people. They're your existing final expense clients. You're allowed to market to your existing final expense clients, right? You paid money for the lead. You took time. You sat down with them. You got them a life insurance plan. Maybe you got them a hospital indemnity plan, right? Or maybe they said, hey, I want you to be my agent. And you tell them, you know what, you're in a good plan right now. I can't change you, right? There's really nothing that we could do right now. But, coming on up in October, as soon as we get that, boom. And you might have a stack of 25, 30 of those people that are in a plan that no longer exists for 2023, right? And how do you know this stuff? Well, it's a great question. Have you contacted your local rep? I don't know, right? I say it every call. I say, get in touch with your local rep. Why? Scott Bryan got $1,400 from him for his local rep. She gave him $1,400 to use towards marketing dollars. I call it my local rep. Anytime I need stamps, I go ahead. Guy sends me stamps, tons of stamps, right? So he always sends me stamps. He sends me rolls of stamps. I'm like, hey, I'm just sending out some handwritten stuff, right? So a T65 list that I have of my own clients. I got a list right here that is 3 pages long, 198 rows of people that are turning 65, born in 1958. My clients. So I call the guy and I'm like, hey, I'm going to do some marketing to either existing clients or new clients for United Healthcare products and obviously other products that we market. So if you could just send me out some stamps, that'd be great. How many do you need? 200, right? So that is really, really important. Okay. It's really, really important to make sure that you're using the resources that are in front of you with the reps. So if you don't know who your rep is, you probably haven't been listening to these calls, or you just haven't taken action to do it. That's the difference between you and a person that's writing 50 applications in their first week when AEP opens, is the level of action that you are taking or you are not taking. That's the biggest differentiator, right? If you're broke, you don't have money, that's probably because you're not taking enough action, right, to do it. So there's people that are working 60, 70 hours a week. Maybe you do that for 2 or 3 years. Yeah, you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to get tired. But 60, 70 hours a week, building up a final expense database and book of business and building up a Medicare book of business, and you do that. Yeah, you got sacrifice. Okay. But you also have a lot of freedom and a lot of financial freedom. And that's really the key. We have more freedom as entrepreneurs, but at the same time, we're busier than anyone that I personally know. I'm busier than any of my friends that work jobs. They get off. They don't understand. They're like, what do you mean you have to take a phone call after 5 o'clock? I'm like, yeah, this isn't a job, it doesn't just get shut off. So I got these lists. I'm making sure that I'm talking to all the people. I'm sorting through them, and I got a lot of people to talk to. So I know which ones are changing. I know what areas based on Sunfire, literally just using the tools that are in front of me, just go in there, pull it on up. I've sold in a lot of states. So on this list, I have Texas, I have Oklahoma, I have North Carolina, I have West Virginia, I have Arizona, I have Maryland. I've been to a lot of places. So I've sold all throughout the country. Illinois, Georgia. Yeah, I got quite the list of people. Kansas. I did go up to Kansas for a little bit. That was a nice little trip up there. It's about 5-6 hours north of me. So yeah, so I just created a massive database and I just sorted through it. To get the T65 list for me, I just went into the carrier's website and for the life insurance carriers, and I pull it on up, right? I have all my clients' information. They're my clients. I download the Excel sheets from the carriers, Prosperity, American Amicable, whatever company it is. They give you the data, right? If you didn't store it because you didn't think to store it, that's okay, right? But just going forward, just know that I got a list of 200 people. If you got a calculator, challenge you to do this. 200 people times $601 per application. That's 120 grand. $120,000. This spreadsheet right here, 120 grand. Plus, let's say it's $75 on there per each health assessment. So we got $120,000 plus that 15 grand. That's $135,000 1 year. And then the next year, right, I then get, if none of them change plans, right, if I don't decide to change plans, I then get renewals of $60,000 on that book of business, right? It'd be $301 per app times 200 clients. That's 60 grand. Why don't you have your database? Why don't you have your list, right? So if you're an agent, you work with me and you need help sorting through this stuff and kind of figuring out how to get it, navigating to it, go ahead and just let me know. You can also just call the life insurance company to say, hey, I need to download my book of business. How do I do that? And they're going to walk you through exactly how to do it. It's in there. You just click policies, go to reports, play around with it. I've sent emails about how to do it as well. So, and I know I did a call that we actually mentioned it too. All right. So I got that whole entire list. So that's what I'm doing now and in preparation. I'm always working my T65 list, which is people that are turning 65, right? Aging into Medicare. And even if they're already on a Medicare Advantage plan, once they turn 65, they get another election period to use. That's your IEP. It's still an initial election period for turning 65. And even if they already are in a plan, I'm still going to get paid the full commission if we change them when they turn 65 to another plan, if that makes sense. So make sure you're storing all that data and make sure that you have everything. And you're taking really, really good notes. If they have a PO box, make sure that you notate that. Here's a physical address, and then here's their mailing address. Make sure you notate apartment numbers. Make sure you have the correct cell phone number. Maybe, right, I have someone on my list that I call, and that number goes to their power of attorney. Did you store the power of attorney's name, their first name, their last name, to make sure that you know who it is, right, when you're calling them? So you're prepared with that stuff. Hi, Stacy, right? Hi, Linda. I was just talking to you about your mother's plan changes for 2023, right? Wanted to go over those updates. It looks like we don't need to make any changes, right? With United Healthcare, you can stay with the same company if you want. It's a great company. But did you want me to just go over the other options? Let me tell you what changed in your current plan. And let me tell you, since, like I said, I work with most of the large companies, you read your disclosure and all that jazz. I work with most of the companies. And let me tell you the ones that I work with: Humana, Aetna, United Healthcare, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, WellCare. And if I missed any on that list, you guys let me know. Freedom, Optimum, and Care Plus. So, I work with all those companies. So those are the ones that I'm able to offer to you. And I can show you if there's any plans that are a little bit better for this coming year. So in this area in Dallas, Texas, Humana has pretty much had one plan that's been dominant. They have the Humana Gold Plus plan. How do we make sure that us as agents can combat against that when you get into the house and you see that they have a Humana Gold Plus plan? Is there another Humana plan I can put them in? Prior years to 2023 selling season? Not really, right? You couldn't really do an internal replacement. Okay, that's fine. But what do I always tell you guys about companies that want to capture market share? They go in and they do a Part B premium give back. So in my territory, they decided to go ahead and do a $75 Part B premium give back with $3,000 in dental. And it's a PPO, right? With prescription drug coverage. It's a full MAPD, not just a Medicare Advantage only plan. And they're going to capture a ton of market share. And those that have the Humana Gold Plus plan, which is an HMO, if you're familiar with it, they are allowed to switch. same company, they're allowed to make that change. And now you're the agent of record. You're getting paid the commission, the full commission in January, plus the health assessment, right? And it makes it a lot more appealing to change someone to a plan with a Part B premium give back when they're concerned about the financial aspect, right? When you're talking to clients, financials is one of the most important factors. It's not always going to be. I have a lot of clients that aren't in Part B premium give back plans that are just on Medicare. I like my United Healthcare. I don't want to make any changes. Let's leave it all the same. That may not always be the motivating factor, but I will tell you, with people that are on a fixed income, it is a huge, huge factor for us as agents to be pitching to our clients. So just make sure that you guys are aware of the Part B premium give back plans in your area for the regular Advantage ones and the changes for 2023. It's literally all in Sunfire. All you got to do is take time to read the stuff, go over it, and educate yourself on your specific market. If you need help, let me know. All right, so we got that done. Now, what about Medicare Advantage only plans? All right, so what I'm seeing is that there's some new players in it. Cigna's a new player in terms of how much they're giving back. You have to kind of understand your competition. I think that's what they did. They saw that WellCare for the MAPDs was at $100, so they said we're going 125. They saw that United Healthcare and Humana for their Part B premium give back Medicare Advantage only plans were at $50 each. So they said, hey, we're going to come at 75, right? Some of them are $100 for the MA only plans. That's a huge contributing factor for people to make that decision, especially when they go to the VA. And as we know, going into this year, we're looking at, and you make sure you tell your clients this, we're looking at about an 8.7% COLA, which I got from, I believe it was Yahoo Finance and probably AARP. It was somewhere along those lines. But that's the forecasted number that they do. COLA stands for the cost of living adjustment. So that's based on inflation, your CPI, your consumer price index. That's based on inflation. How much money do we need to give people in Social Security? How much do we need to increase their check to offset, to combat inflation? Because $1 doesn't buy as much goods and services today as it did last year, right? So what do we need to do to increase it to make up for that? So what they do is they do a COLA every year, and that increases it. So you say that word, you say, yes, there's going to be a COLA, the cost of living adjustment, okay, this coming year. And what I've read online, Miss Marys, is going to be about between 8 and 10%. Last year was 5.9, around 6%. This year I read today between 8 and 10%. It could be what we're looking at, probably 8.7%. Does that mean it could be less? Yes. But that's the numbers that I'm getting online from reliable sources. So that's what I think it's going to be. So when you say something like that, you establish yourself as an expert. You build credibility, you build rapport, right? So that's part of your presentation. That's part of, hey, I'm an expert and you should trust me because I know what I'm talking about. I legitimately know what I'm talking about. I study this stuff every single day so I can be the best at it. I want to be the best agent. I had a client tell me the other day that they were like, I just honestly just wish agents would take time to go over the stuff like you are, because the reality is so many people just chase sales and they don't read the literature. They don't understand the stuff. They don't even know what an evidence of coverage is. Meanwhile, it's right in front of you inside of Sunfire. Just got to click the stuff and read. The only way I know it is literally just by clicking through the stuff and just reading it and pulling on up. And that's how I educate myself on all this stuff. I go online and Google some stuff, right? I try and find answers to questions. Okay. So that's really important to make sure that you're doing that as well. So we have Saturday coming on up. So anyone that has leads, okay, coming in, I ask them to give everyone's leads to them on Friday, charge Friday, and also give them the leads on Friday. So that way you can get to work on Saturday and have everything mapped out, have your appointments, have everything coordinated, planned. So you are prepared to hit the field. Okay. So that's very, very important for you as agents to make sure that you're ready to do it. Now, throughout AEP, you need to continue to be relentless and keep your activity and your work ethic very, very high. Do not get dejected just because people will tell you that they got it taken care of. That's why I've been telling you to do it since October 1st, when you could compliantly market plans. If you've been waiting till October 15th to do something, well, you are now 2 weeks behind the competition, right? So you're out there, you're doing it, you're slinging it. Now it's time to really get out there and write the numbers. And keep in mind, every 30 plans is $10,000. It's about $10,000 with the health assessments. 10 grand for every 30 plans that you're writing, because you're gonna have some true ups. You're gonna have some people in there that are basically aging into Medicare, right? Turning 65, or maybe they're on disability and then they turn 65 and age into Medicare and they make a plan change, or they're just on a Medicare supplement plan, but they're new to Medicare Advantage. Okay. So you're getting paid the full commission because they can't afford the Med Sup anymore. So they have to cancel it. I've seen it so many times. They're paying $400, $500, $600 a month and they can't get another plan because they just another Medicare supplement plan because their health isn't good enough to pass underwriting. So it's either, do I eat or do I pay for the health insurance? And when it gets to that type of situation, they have to go the Medicare Advantage route, which is fine, right? They're not terrible. As you see, these plans, they get better every single year. Literally every single year I've been in the business, they have increased the quality of the plan year over year because they're competing against each other. So they know the value that they need to bring to the table to be better than XYZ insurance company competitor that they have. So, and it's such a great opportunity for us right now to be able to do this. I mean, some of you just don't realize the opportunity that you have in front of you. I mean, 10,000 people a day, every single month, 300,000 people, 30 days in a month, 300,000 people, every single month, 3.6 million people a year. What's that over a decade? 36 million people. That's a huge opportunity. Plus the existing pool of people, right? And it's a federal program that isn't going anywhere because you pay taxes on it. So it'd be very, very hard to get rid of, right? It's very, very difficult. It's a social program. And I think it's a very, very good program because a lot of people would not have any health insurance without it. So keep in mind also that these health insurance companies, they get paid to manage their healthcare, right? They get paid to manage these clients' healthcare. Medicare Advantage plan is a replacement to original Medicare. That way, Medicare doesn't have to deal with billing or anything along those lines. It replaces it. They no longer have to bring the red, white, and blue card anywhere. It's just that one card for their Medicare Advantage, and that covers every single thing. All right, so we had one question from Lori. I don't know if she's on the call, but she had texted me. So let me pull it up. Can we use SEP now, or do we have to wait until October 15th? So yeah, you could still use special election periods. If you got a 5-star, that's a special election period you could use all year round. If you have natural disaster, that's one you can use all year round. If you have a client that lost their employer coverage because they retired, you could still use that. If someone had a change in status, right? Not dual/LIS maintaining, you can't use that right now. But if there was changes in status, okay, they gained their Medicaid status, you can use that. So there's certain election periods that you can use. For a lot of these people, I mean, unless it's a high sense of urgency, right? Like they need the money for their on a prepaid Visa card from United Healthcare for $100 a month. Like they really need that, and it's a high sense of urgency. Yeah, do it. If not, Saturday's 3 days away. So that's a good thing. I thought she was on the call. She might be. So I'm just going to reply to her via text message. So let me go to the next question. And if you guys also have questions, let me know. Is it compliant to call FE clients that you never sold, but you sat down with? Yeah, you could call. You have a BRC, a business reply card. You can talk to them for sure. You just have to get their permission to contact them. That's all that it is. They call it a PTC form, permission to contact. Just reach out to your local rep, go on a carrier's website, find it, PTC form. And once you get that, then you can call the client whenever they expire every 9 months. All right. So what else do we have? There was another question that came in that I don't want to forget. Oh, here's a note. Cigna appointments. The only pre-appointment states for Cigna are Alabama, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Washington. 5 states. Now that's Washington State, not Washington, D.C., I assume, because it would write D.C. So with that said, if you are selling in those 5 states, you need to be appointed prior with Cigna only okay, before going to sell there. All right. So now with that, what does that mean? If you go and sell in one of those states and you are not appointed in those states prior to going to sell there, you will probably be terminated from the insurance company, right? That's more than likely what will happen, or you'll be penalized pretty heavily. You won't get commission on any of the applications you write. If you go there on a blitz, you wrote 10 apps, just always make sure if you're going anywhere, make sure that you and your upline are licensed in those states, and with most companies appointed in those states, right? So United Healthcare, before you go sell in Nebraska, make sure that you and your upline are licensed there and give plenty of time in advance to do it, because some states move really slow. Some states, for me, for example, I have a corporation, got a couple corporations, and if I need to get a license in Massachusetts, they have a name approval that you have to go through, a name approval process that's not electronic. You have to fill out the form and either mail it in or fax it in. It's very time consuming and can take weeks for them to get this stuff completed. California could take 4, 5, 6 weeks to get it done, right? They can move faster at certain times a year, but just be aware of that stuff. So don't be out there selling in a state if you're not appointed, your upline's not appointed there. So Cigna, every other state for Cigna, I'll send out the email, besides Alabama, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Washington. When you write your first app, that is when you will be appointed in those states. So it says, so the only states, I'll send out an email so that way you guys got it. Other than that, you can just start writing business and then you will be appointed with the carrier. So that was one question that someone had about that one. So let me go into the next thing. Let's see. We talked about Cigna and their portal, which is Icario, ICARIO agent portal. That is where you do the health assessment. And it literally gives you a link to go to. It's either Cigna for producers or Cigna for brokers, one of those two. I forget which one it is. You go there, you got to make sure you do the health assessment training, or, it's just certification, probably takes a couple minutes to do it. You go through that and make sure that you do that stuff. Next was kind of something Lynn had asked about the presentation. So I don't have a typed up presentation. If you want presentations or stuff like that, guys, that's going to come directly from the insurance companies itself. So for compliance purposes, I'm not going through doing all that work to put a presentation together for Medicare, right? Final expense is way different. The regulation's different. But once you get in the door, it really is just building rapport. I mean, those people know what you're there about. They took time to fill out a BRC, a business reply card, and send it on in to your office, right? For you to go out there and speak to them about Medicare. Okay, so that's very, very important. So make sure that you get it and you build rapport with the client, right? You talk to them, you sit down with them, and then you transition to the Medicare side and establish yourself as an expert and just get into talking about the plans, right? Get into talking about the other plans in the air. Oh, you have Humana? That's a great company. I work with them, right? And here's some of the things that they changed for this coming year for your current plan, right? I'm not even trying to sell you anything right now. I'm not trying to do that, right? Is Cigna on Sunfire? Yeah, they're on Sunfire. They definitely are. So for presentation purposes, it's definitely just keep it really, really simple and do not overwhelm yourself with it. Medicare leads. If you don't have a order for Medicare leads, let me know. Well, you can't order anything anymore right now, but if you have existing order in place and you need help, okay, with managing the mail and how much you want to take on a weekly basis, and you didn't speak to me about it, just let me know and I'll be able to help you with that. So any leads that you ordered are yours. They're under your name. No other agent ordered them. They're yours, right? They're coded to you. You got to pay for them. You got to buy them I'd buy them all now, right? And be the first person there. All right. So next, let's see, Christy, she sent me a question as well. And she said, how to overcome those who think they are already being sold. They have a hard time paying attention at the door because they think I am selling them. Most are confused about Medicare. And yeah, so people that are at the door, I mean, you got a lead in your hand that they took time to fill out. So if it's a lead about the Medicare savings program, you just read it to them verbatim, right? So a lot of I think that's something that is infrequent. Someone that doesn't realize or understand what they just sent in last week, right? An actual piece of direct mail, not a Facebook lead or an SEO lead or anything like that. So if that's the case and you're running into it, I would say it's very few and far between that you're actually running into it. All right, so let's see over here. So let me pull this one on up. So on the lead, it's going to say, do you qualify to have your Medicare Part B premium paid for by the state? If you do qualify, you'll receive whatever it is for that year back into your Social Security check. Do you qualify for extra help program with prescription drugs from Social Security? Do you qualify for Medicaid, or have you been receiving all the extra benefits such as dental, vision, hearing, transportation, and some of the free over-the-counter health products, which is really a great benefit? Return this card today. This is a free service to you. Please read, right? They don't have to pay anything for you to come out, sit down and talk with them. They check the box that says, yes, I would like to find out if I qualify for any of these benefits or any or all of these benefits. They write their name, they write their age, they write their spouse's name, spouse's age, they write their address, they write their phone number, and then they go ahead and send it back on in to our office. So with that said, the most important thing for us as agents is to kind of present that to them. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not here to sell you anything. Here's all the stuff that you could qualify for, like you read in the card. Let me go over those benefits with you. You already have Humana. I work with Humana. It's a great company, one of the best companies, in my personal opinion, right? Maybe you don't like it, maybe you do. I don't know. But it's just one that I personally enjoy working with. So I go in there and I kind of explain that to them. And just like anything, you're gonna have objections that you need to overcome. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So how do you overcome that? It's by using that pitch. A lot of people are confused about Medicare, for sure. That's why you're there. That's why you have a job. That's why you need to establish yourself as an expert pretty quickly. That's why you need to use some of these things that I'm saying on here and, kind of take those little nuggets and apply them to your pitch, right? Hey, did you know about the COLA, the cost of living adjustment that you're going to get? It's about 8.7%. In addition to that, I can go over all these other benefits that you request information on as well. So let's see over here. So also I'm selecting 2023. Yeah, 2022 plans are still showing in there. You need to actually click the 2023 option to make sure you change it. And that's every single time you go from one plan to another plan section, a plan type. So if you go from Medicare Advantage plan to Medicare Advantage with prescription drugs, MAPD, right? And you're going back and forth between those two sections, or you go from MAPD to special needs, make sure you adjust that plan year to 2023. So that is important. So make sure that you adjust that plan year to 2023 and you're looking at the right ones. And if the benefits aren't showing up, like food, you got to pull up the summary benefits, right? So pull up that summary benefits and take a look at it. Kenneth asks, hey, what's the easiest way to get a client's MBI number if they only have their old Medicare card? Well, on the old Medicare card, if it ends in an A, that's their Social Security number, which is exactly why they got rid of it, because you have, in 7 years from 2023, you'll have 84 million people, more than 84 million, but that's the projection, right? As people die. So around 84 million people walking around with their Social Security card or their Social Security number on their Medicare card that they're supposed to carry, right, for healthcare. So you call the company, right? You call United Healthcare Producer Help Desk, Humana Producer Help Desk. I find those to be the most helpful. I've called Cigna lately, and I wasn't too blown away with their agent services and the reps. To be honest with you, it didn't blow me away at all. I was kind of like, hey, I'm on hold longer with them than any other company, and they have a lot more hoops to jump through. It's just like when I call Humana or I call United Healthcare, right? I get right to it. And I get right to the point. If I'm verifying someone's MBI number, the Medicare Beneficiary Identification Number, which is on the red, white, blue card, that's their Medicare number. when I'm verifying that, right, I get to them very, very quickly. So you kind of learn that as you go through the business over the years. You kind of see which companies are best and which ones are kind of a little bit more difficult. John has a question, so comment or concern. So I'm going to ask to unmute John. Go ahead.
All right, thanks, Holden. I have a question for you regarding maximum out of pocket. And so I ran into two plans from the same carrier today. One had a $5,000 maximum out of pocket. The other one had an $800 maximum out of pocket. Now, it's my understanding that with maximum out of pocket, that once you exceed that, then you don't pay anything. So that I think the ways that you get those maximum out of pockets or credits towards that is, say you have a hospital visit, or say you have a doctor copay, or say you have an x-ray. So I think it all adds up to that maximum out of pocket. And if that's true, then I believe after 800, you wouldn't have to pay anything for those types of services.
Correct. Yeah. So that's a great question, because I see that all the time with people, and you see it in the trainings itself that the carriers are asking, right? They're saying, hey, what counts towards a maximum out of pocket? What counts towards the true, right? The true for prescription drugs. They ask questions about those specific things. And that's one that's very, very important to understand. So what counts towards a maximum out of pocket? What is a maximum out of pocket? This is universal for health insurance, right? Anything that you have a co-payment on, a co-insurance on, and your deductible. Anything for that, for medical, not for prescription drugs, and not for a planned premium. Anything towards that, your co-payments, your co-insurance, and deductible. So like John just mentioned, hey, they go in the hospital, you have a fixed co-payment for that. You take an ambulance, got a fixed co-payment for that. You get cancer, you have a fixed co-insurance for that. If your plan has a deductible, it counts towards that maximum out of pocket. But the amount you pay per month in a monthly premium doesn't count. The amount you pay for prescription drugs doesn't count. So that's an appealing thing for some people. And of course, if they go with let's say, for example, one plan in his example has an $800 maximum out of pocket, and the other plan has a $5,000 maximum out of pocket. Well, I can fix that with a hospital indemnity plan. And even there's nothing wrong with clients winning on a hospital indemnity plan. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean in this situation where they only have an $800 maximum out of pocket, more than likely with a lot of these people, especially if they're still working, you have other costs, right, that come about when you go in the hospital for 5 days, 7 days, right? Maybe you're the person that cuts your grass. And since you couldn't do it for 30 days, what happens to the city when they come by and they see that you have blight in the front of your house, right? And they write you an infraction, and now you have to pay a fine to the city, right? Should think about that. No, a lot of people don't think about the little things like that. That's very important. So a hospital indemnity plan is just extra cash that a client can use, even if it surpasses what the medical bills are. In that scenario, it'd be $800 and they get a check for $2,000, right? So that's something that I always tell people as well. It's like, hey, especially for clients that are working. It's like, if you are working and you go in the hospital, well, the hospital indemnity plan is definitely going to help you, because that's going to subsidize income and loss of income. So that's going to be really important as well, to make sure that you guys understand that and you're pitching them. So if you have not sold a hospital indemnity plan, that just simply means to me that you're not pitching it, right? And maybe it's because you're not well versed in it. So on my YouTube channel, just look through it. I did a whole call on hospital indemnity on my website in the training. Go in there. I have a whole training section on hospital indemnity plans and why they make sense from one plan to the other. So that would answer John's question. John, did you still have a question on there? I don't know. I didn't lower the hand. So I'll hit ask to unmute if you do. If not, don't worry about it.
That's it. Thank you. I'll lower the hand.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. I got it. So Scott has a question. Scott's been lining up people. So you guys always see people in the group chat. You're seeing people that are lining up clients for AEP, right? So you should have, I would say, a good level producer is probably going to have about 15, 20 people that are already lined up for AEP. A higher level producer is probably going to have about 30 to 50. The highest of the elites is north of 50, right? Lined up for the first week, right? People that they've already sat down with, that they've talked to. And there's a lot of people to talk to, but you got to do it before the calls start hitting in these people. So on Saturday, calls are starting. They ain't gonna answer the phone no more. Tell you that much. They won't answer the phone no more. So Scott, you got a question, my man? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I had a question from a client. We're getting a lot of feedback from the OTC on, hey, it pays for some electricity or some utility payments, and they go, well, who is it? And so I know that each carrier has a vendor that they use to pay those things. Do you happen to have some links where you can go and find those vendors? So when they say, hey, I want to pay this, and here's the vendor you can use.
No, there's no vendors. It's a prepaid MasterCard with Humana. It's a prepaid Visa card with United Healthcare. Just like with these cards, they're just like using a debit card.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the vendor would be Visa or MasterCard.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Because I thought the OTC, the blue card, like on United Healthcare, that was all in one, but I guess you get another card to go with it.
yep. Well, it's all on one, but it's just like, if you've seen it, it's just like the blue card is just like a Visa card, or it is a Visa card. Actually, that's who does it for United Healthcare. It'll be Visa again this year with them. Humana is going to be MasterCard. WellCare, I also pretty sure it's Visa. Cigna, I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, for those ones, you're going to have that prepaid card, and then it says it in the literature with Humana. So search through your email and let me see, all insurance carriers, Humana spending. Yeah. So it's labeled Humana spending account card guide. So I sent out this email here, and on it, screen one, let me share here. And on it over here, it shows you right here. Oh, so Humana is a Visa card as well.
Okay.
So one company is going to be that. So here's an example of it. And then this is the PDF that I emailed out, and it has everything, and it tells you exactly what it is. So I wonder who's MasterCard. I forget what company's MasterCard. But yeah, this is part of being well informed with your clients, and taking out a PDF like this, which is provided by the insurance company, and just shows you, hey, one card, three potentials. Here's all the stuff. So have your materials in order. So when I know I send out a lot of emails, but I do it with a purpose to not baby you guys, but to make sure that you guys have all the information. I don't want it to be overwhelming, but just take the stuff. What I do is I organize it. I'm personally now, just so everyone knows, I'm personally now transitioning away from Dropbox. And I'm just using G Suite, and I'm using Google Drive. So that's what I'll be using going forward for myself. And everything that I send out, you'll see, is Google Drive now. They're both clouds. They're pretty much the same thing as far as that goes. But I already pay for G Suite through my website. So I already have all this stuff. So I was basically paying, two different people to do the same exact thing for my cloud. And I got a lot of storage that I need for it. So yeah, so just make sure you guys have this stuff. I mean, these are great graphics that are provided by the insurance company. So that's really, really important for you guys to make sure that you have this stuff and you got it pulled up when you're out in the home. So I know I sent that one out. Let me see. United Healthcare. Let me see for 2023. Renew rewards, ancillary. Yeah. So, and also, guys, you got to make sure that you're ordering those summary, the enrollment guides direct from the insurance company. So those enrollment guides are awesome. They provide really, really great insight, and that's your leave behind for the client. So you want to make sure you're doing that. Go through your Google Drive, your Dropbox, whatever you use, whatever cloud system you use, and start deleting the stuff from 2021, right? The stuff from 2022 is applicable now, because you can, when you have it, you could go ahead and pull it on up for 2022 and do a little comparison when you're with them, right? But here's an example of one that I sent out for Aetna, right? So here's an Aetna one that I sent on out, and this is the 2023 over-the-counter catalog, right? So just make sure you're saving this stuff so you have it prepared and you can scroll through it. What this means to me is I got to update this stuff on my website. So that's a little note. I'll write myself a reminder real quick, and I will go in here and update website for, and this is going to be time consuming for me, guys. So I'm going to update my website with the 2023 documents. So I'll do that for as much stuff as I can get my hands on. If there's stuff that you guys have that I don't have or I haven't sent out to you, I'd love to see if you send it to me, that'd be great too. That would be awesome. So yeah, so just go through the stuff. Here's the stuff that you can order. And it also legitimizes you as an agent, right? Because you're not a scam, right? You're not a bad person. You're an insurance agent contracted with the insurance company, right? So you want to make sure that you have this stuff. Check this out right here. I sent this out in an email too. This is our wearable watch, wearable medical alert Sidekick smartwatch. How cool is that? Right? Sidekick Smart is a custom designed smartwatch for seniors who need the benefits of a medical alert system housed with us in a stylish wearable. That is freaking awesome. Cool. You could call here for emergency help. It tracks your steps and monitors your heart rate all in one compact device. Heart rate monitor, step counter, emergency monitoring system 24/7, right? Must have cellular on it, I suppose. Contact us today. Here's the information where to do it. It's water resistant, all that jazz. What company sent this on out, right? How do you know? Well, I got an email. I sent it to you guys. So here you go. Right there came from Aetna. So yeah, so that is really, really awesome. So please, please, please read the emails that I'm telling y'all about. I do it all the time. I know I say it on every single call 10 times. Make sure that you're going through the stuff. If you're confused and you got questions, just let me know on that. So yeah, so preparation. Have your routes planned, have your road warrior planned, have all your appointments set. Make sure that you are really, really hammering this stuff and you're the first person to see them and you're really helping out these clients and you're very informed and you're very educated on the topic. If you haven't watched all the videos that I have, if you go on YouTube and you go to my channel, you just go in any of the emails that I send out, right, in any of those links, and you go over there and you pull up in the playlist section in the MA training calls, there's 16 training calls. There's about to be 17 with this one tonight, right? So that's 16 weeks of content, 4 months of content, all in one area for you guys under playlist. So pull that up. There's also the final expense training calls. And then on my whole entire website, you got another probably 40, 50 videos in there that's going to educate you even more. So in terms of content, I mean, you guys got 60, 70 videos to watch to educate yourself on these topics. And while you're driving around, right, that's just something just to listen to while you're driving around. So that way you can be the best agent that you could possibly be and put your clients in the best situation. In the end of the day, always be ethical and always do what's best for the client, and you'll never have any issues, and you'll have people that love you and that give you referrals and always will take care of you and will never leave you as their agent. And one thing that I always tell people is very, very important. Hey, here's the companies I work with. I work with most of the big companies. Here's the ones. And you tell them the ones that you work with. And you tell them, hey, these are the companies that I work with. So if someone calls you and says, I want to flip you to WellCare, Cigna, Anthem, Aetna, United Healthcare, Humana, I work with those companies. And so if someone's telling you to go to this company, just call me and I can do it, right? In fact, while I'm here, let me go over the benefits for those companies, right? Because I don't want to sell you on anything. I don't want to put you in a bad situation. I don't want you going to the doctor and the doctor says they can't take you. I don't want you getting unforeseen medical bills because someone just called you over the phone and they didn't check networks. They didn't check doctors. They didn't check drugs. They were just looking for a sale, right? And they don't care about you, right? You're just another person to get a sale, right? That's just another person to sell. So that's really it. Scott, you're still unmuted. I don't know if you have any other questions, or if anyone else has any other questions, raise your hand and we'll get to it. That's it. That's all the questions y'all have. All right. Well, all right. AEP's here, guys. So this is the opportunity to, Scott, you got a question? Go ahead. This is the opportunity to really, really get after it and do a phenomenal job. And it's honestly, it's selfish of you to not sell a lot of Medicare. It's like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean it's selfish of me to not sell a lot of Medicare? Well, it's selfish from the perspective that you're not doing what's in the best interest of your family, right? A great business owner, one, has a healthy business model that generates revenue, right? Net profit at the end of the month is healthy. And whatever's not putting you in the best situation for your net profit, you cut it out. Hey, this isn't profitable. This is not profitable for me and my business. Can't do it. Okay, that's fine. Now, next, the other thing that you got to look at is what can I do for safety and security for my family? What can I do for our financial freedom? Okay, here's a way I could do it. I could generate cash flow with final expense and hospital indemnity plans. I can also get nice checks from selling annuities. In addition to that, I could sell Medicare, which pays my family for today and the future. I like survivorship. If I die today, my wife gets tens of thousands of dollars of renewals a month. My son, my wife, my soon-to-be daughter are set for an extended period of time with a lot of life insurance coming in too, right? So they're very, very set just from my health insurance side. So it's selfish of you not to do this. It really is. It's incredibly selfish to not go out there and work and see every single lead and sit down with every single person and help them out. Scott, go ahead, buddy.
I didn't know if I wanted to visit with you about this, but today I was on Sunfire and I was doing some compare on the D-SNP, and I noticed the drug costs were what I consider high, but I don't know if
Yeah, so
Sunfire.
I'll stop you there. So as far as drug cost goes, with people that are on dual special needs plans, it does not matter. So
Okay,
when
that's
you're
what.
editing it in Sunfire, and you're putting in a client's information, so that's all you got to do is just well, first off, you could pretty much ignore what it is for drug costs for dual special needs plan because they're capped on how much they pay per plan. So let's say, for example, I go view quote with a client and I go in there and I put in lisinopril, and let me put in like Eliquis. I know that's an expensive one. Let me put in Brilinta. I know that's an expensive one. So I'll put those drugs in there and let me hit add medication. So you guys can't see my screen. So now you can see it. All right. I put that stuff in there. Okay. And now what I do is I go to right over here to special needs plans. Whoa, these drugs are $1,800. No, they're not. Someone's on a special needs plan. They're on both Medicare and Medicaid, right? What do? Well, I go back to the customer profile right here. I scroll all the way down to the bottom. Do you receive extra help or LIS? Yes. How much do you pay? Boom, done. Now I go back, I hit view all plans. Okay. Here you go. Look at that. Now it's $96. Special needs plans. Same thing over here. There you go. Problem solved. So that's all you got to do is you go to the customer profile here, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then you click this if they're on dual special needs. And if they're just on LIS, which will say extra help level 1, you click that for $3.95 by $9.85. On the left side, the lower dollar amount is how much it costs for a generic. On the right, that's how much it costs for a brand name drug. So then you would just click view all plans, go back to it, and then it'll adjust it for you and tell you automatically. The only thing that you have to be concerned about, okay, is if the drug's on the formulary. If the drugs are not on the formulary, it's on the formulary for every single one of those special needs plans. So let's go find it for one that's not on the formulary right here. This looks like it's not on the formulary because the drug cost is very high. So you go through this, you go to drug costs, and more than likely nope, it is on, they're all on the formulary, but the drug cost is just higher with this plan relative to another. And it also has a deductible. So that's going to be why. So looks like there might be a deductible for this plan. Yeah, $240 annual drug deductible. All right, so that is how you adjust it. So as far as that goes, you do not need to worry about drug cost for D-SNPs. Yep, there you go. John said it right there too. So what else do we have here? Anyone else have any other questions? AEP's here, right? This is it. We're going to be nonstop. I'm loving it. It is the busiest I've ever been, and I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful to be this busy, right? So at a time when a lot of people suffer economically, right? They're not doing great financially. We have the ability through recessions, which we're in, right? You're in a recession right now. Interest rates are forecasted to go up to 8% by Q1, Q2 next year. So what happens when interest rates go up is consumer spending goes down because you have less disposable income. For us, we have the ability to still work and earn a substantial amount of money because we're in a recession-proof business. That's amazing. Think about that. Jobs are going to have a lot of layoffs. The cost of servicing debt goes up. Every company has debt, right? OPM, use other people's money. It's a smart way to do it. So servicing debt and all costs of everything have gone up dramatically. So there's going to be layoffs here. The economy is not going to get better. Hopefully it does. I pray that it does, right? I really hope that it does get better. But just looking at the raw numbers, it's not going to get better. So we have an amazing opportunity to earn a substantial amount of money when the economy is going down. The richest of the rich people get incredibly wealthy during recessions. But think about that. When you have the opportunity, the old saying, buy low, sell high, don't buy high, sell low, right? Buy low, sell high. Use this money now that you're getting to, after you can only reinvest so much into your business, now you're going to be able to accumulate assets. And this is the way to do it, right? And during a recession, it's going to be amazing for you to take advantage of this. So I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Just go ahead and reach out to me if you got any questions. I will be seeing y'all next week and checking in with you guys, unless we need to do a call, on Saturday, on Sunday, on Friday, whatever it is, if there's a lot of questions coming in that people need help with. Other than that, y'all have a wonderful evening, and I will be talking to y'all soon. And let's go get selling.